Hey everyone, this video I am sharing today is a pretty old one. I had recorded this like 2 years back, and since this is one of my favorite paintings, I decided to share anyway. And oh my god, that's my very old space. Well, let's get started. I wanted to paint something in winter landscape. So here I decided to paint a frost covered branches on a winter morning. I have covered the main focus branches and ice covering areas with the masking fluid. I love the masking fluid to dry very well before we started the painting. I am using Arches cold press watercolor paper. Since it's 100% cotton, it really holds the water well. We start with a very good even wash on the paper. Make sure the water is clean. The palette I'm using here is from Art Philosophy Go and it's their Currents palette. I love this palette and this is one of my favorite from their collection. When painting the sky, I'm leaving a paper white space to give the sunlight in the background. I'll be mixing a bit of yellow and giving sunlight peeking through the sky little while later. I was very reluctant to share this painting here. Post the video here. I know this painting is pretty old, but still, I thought these techniques can help anyone. As I'm trying to create a winter morning effect, I want some bouquet effect on my painting. So while the paper is still wet, I'm trying to lift some of the pigments from the paper with a clean dry brush. Also, you can see that I'm using tissue to lift off the pigments from the paper. This particular technique which I'm using is called as lifting. Now, we'll go ahead and do some branches. The branches I'm painting are trying to be in the background, so it will be in a blurry effect. Make sure the paper is like 50% wet. I know I speeded my process here a little bit so that you can see the spreading of the pigments is little more than what I want it to be. If we try to do the branches when the paper is like 50% wet, it will give us a little more cleaner edges and I would prefer that. If I'm trying to recreate this painting again, I'm sure I will be doing a much better job than how I did before. You can add as many branches as you want. I feel I went a little overboard with the branches, but hey, you can only learn from your mistakes, right? While painting, we tend to overdo with the details, but this can be controlled only with practice and observation. Once you're happy with the branches, allow the paper to dry completely. Maybe leave it overnight or at least few hours. Once the paper is completely dry, you can start removing the masking fluid area. Even if the paper is a little damp, you can tear the painting and it will ruin everything. So make sure the paper is really dry before removing the masking fluid. Once that's done, we can start giving some highlights for the areas where the light falls from the sun. This even includes the area of the branches where the sunlight hit. Also, don't forget the snow part. We will be providing some shadows with lighter shades of blue for the snow-covered areas. And make sure that you are not fully covering the snow. We need to leave a paper white over there. This will give us a more realistic approach. we'll be using much more darker colors than we previously done the background branches to do the foreground branches. I mixed a yellow that's similar to chromium yellow to give the sunshine that's falling on the branches. Make sure that this branches comes like dark to light in the middle area so that it will give that realistic approach for the branches. I decided to give white gouache on the painting to create the bouquet effect that previously I wanted. You can see that the ones we created before the painting have been covered with the branches. So I'm mixing a little bit of yellow with the white gouache and we are drawing it in the form of circles. Make sure to distribute the circles in high pigmented and low pigmented circle to provide that realistic effect. We can also give some highlights for the snow with the white gouache. This can be done either with the white gouache, poster white color paints, or even the Posca markers. Also, I am tapping some white gouache with my brushes to create that little bit of snowfall on the branches. This painting is very close to my heart, and that's the reason I decided I will share here anyway. And if you decided to give this a try, please do share it and tag me in my socials. And let me know what you think of this painting in the comments below. See you next week.